Hi everybody and welcome back to the Immaculate Confection Studio for another lovely little flower tutorial. Today we're making Jasmine. They are super cute little fillers. I'm going to show you how to do a sort of white and green version and a white and pink. There'd be nothing stopping you doing other colours if you wanted to. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe and check out our website immaculateconfections.co.uk where you are going to find all of our great classes, all of our colours, flower paste books, and all the lovely things you see me use in these videos. Right, Jasmine's. We just want two components to this. We've got the little buds in various sizes and the little flowers, and then those are what we're going to dust up. So for the pink ones, which are there, my board's a bit big, and then we've got the greeny ones here. It all just starts life as white. I'm going to use the candle to attach these. I'll show you that in just a second. And then for the flowers, it is just a little Calyx cutter. So this is a PME one. It's the smallest one they do, which I think is about 2 centimetres. Let's see. Yeah, about 2 centimetres, 22 mil, something like that. And as I say, 28 gauge wire. So where did those go? Back there. Right. Candle method. I use this all the time to attach flower paste, little buds, little berries, things like that to the wires. So we are going to make sure our paste is well kneaded. You do get plenty of working time with our flower paste, which is why I'm being quite naughty and not putting it away. You can totally put it away. Like, best practice is always to put it away, but as I say, I'm just being a bit lazy. We'll take a little ball, roll it so that it's nice and smooth, and just point off one end of it like so. And then if you wet your wire, it will stop it burning too much, like burning the paper. Hold it in the candle flame until the wire goes red hot basically, and then insert that into your little bud. And if you get that hiss and puff of smoke, you've done it right. And then we'll just pinch the underneath there and give it a twist down, much as it happens, like you would do when making a twiddle. Point off the top a little bit. And then we just want to do some lines in it. And I often find that actually your cutting wheel is the easiest to do this with, because of course by virtue of the fact that the wheel spins, it doesn't drag in the paste. And then we can give it just a little hint of a twist. That is it to make the buds. All you want to do is just make sure that you do them in a range of sizes. So you can see, for example, here we've got sort of smaller ones to bigger ones. I think we've got the time. I can just do one more for you there. So again, nice smooth ball, point off the end, wet the wire so the paper doesn't burn, and just heat it up. And the trick here as well actually is, so if you haven't done this method before, don't hold the wire at the end like this, because it will be hard to precisely shove it into your flower paste. Hold it closer so you've got a bit more precision. You do want to move quickly so that it doesn't cool down, and you're looking for that little bit of smoke and the hiss, and like you can smell it as well. It smells like well, burnt sugar, like popcorn or something. And actually I do this as a littler one so I can just take away more of that underneath there. And again, we'll just 3 lines. Give it that little twist. and that's your buds. So you can make as many as you like. I think I'm going to end up with 5 or 6 per little sprig here, but it's going to depend what you're doing it with. But yeah, nice and simple for those. Candle makes it easy because it's burnt on. That's not going to stick, but you still want to let it dry. I don't know, at least an hour, a couple of hours until you start dusting it or whatever. Different things, different people. Right, we are going to use a very simple Mexican hat method for the flowers. So again, well needed, so it's nice and fresh and stretchy. If it feels like it is becoming not so fresh and stretchy, you can of course put a drop or two of water in it, a little bit of Trex, re-knead it, and that will just bring it back to life a bit. There are points where it will be so far gone that's not going to work, but you can tell because it will feel wrong. So we are going to use the little holes in our petal pad here to do a Mexican hat. So we'll take a little bit of flour paste, well kneaded, put it on top of, you can go, well, either hole really. I'll start with the middle one because that's going to be a little bit easier. I tend to just dip my finger in corn flour and press it in really, really, really hard to make that sticky out bit underneath. So I reckon Mexican hat because it's sort of sombrero shape, but it always makes me think of oh my god, yeah, see, I can't, it makes me feel anxious just looking at that, Lindsay. Always makes me think of those pink mushroom sweets, which I don't know, do other places have them, or is that one of those weirdly,
what's that,
British things? The pink mushroom sweets.
I don't know. We
want to make this a little bit thinner, so I am going to use, oh Annie, now you know. This is a cake pop stick that I'm going to use as a teeny tiny rolling pin. You can use a cell pin, you can use the shaft of a paintbrush or a pencil, whatever it is. But I quite like my little cake pop stick. And we just want to roll around our sticky up bit to make the paste around it a little bit thinner. I would say don't go too thin because we do want to be able to ball tool and all the rest of it. So you want a little bit of thickness to do that. We're then going to take our cutter, pop it over there like so, press and cut, remove that excess, and then just use something that's too big apparently. There we are, just something to pop it out. Now to get the shape, I'll pop that there, of our little jasmines, I'm just going to go around and cut the point off, like so, to just sort of blunt off those petals. And then we will pop it back into the bigger hole there so that it can sit flat. And we'll take a ball tool. We just want to widen the petals there. And actually, we can make the petals a little bit randomly shaped, right? So can you see where I'm using that small ball tool to sort of spread them out so they're not all perfectly the exact same shape and size. I'm going to take one of my wires and I'm going to fold a little slim hook in it. Can you see that there? Is that visible? I can't.
Yeah.
We will take our little flower and you want to use your star tool. So that's this one here. And just pop that to make a dent in the middle. And if you find it sticking, just dip it in some corn flour. So wet your little hook, dab it off so that it's not sopping. Insert it through and you want to pull it so that the little hook is sitting just below the surface of the flower. And then just give it a gentle twist to neaten off the back there. And that is how you make those little jasmines. And then we can give it a little pinch, little pull, little shape. You can ruffle them up, you can push them back. Whatever you want so that they're not all identically the same. The couple of things to watch out for when you make these, I'll do one more and just show you a couple of bits that you've got to be careful of. They are very cute, and it is the trick here really is having the soft flour paste. You want a nice soft paste that is not going to crack on you, basically. So again, pop that in there with a well corn-floured finger. You can thin out the sticky up bit. I can never sort of think of a word for that doesn't sound a bit rude, so I never know what to call it.
The sticky up bit.
The sticky up bit. If you're sticking there, then you can just pop a little bit corn flour on.
Just be the point of the next.
Yeah. What is the head bit of a hat called? I'm sure it has a name.
The tall bit.
Yeah. Like, because obviously the other bit would be the brim, isn't it? So there must be a name for it. Oh, there we go. The nodule. So we'll trim those little bits off again. So the trick is with these, if it's going to break, it's going to be here, right? That's your weak point where the sort of shaft on the wire comes into the petals. So it just means that when you've got that popped in here, just be aware of where you're using the ball. Because if your ball tool comes too far into the centre, you're going to press the flour down into that hole, and the edge of the hole is going to make a sort of line, an indentation around, which is then going to give you a tremendous weakness in the petals. So just be aware of where it is and sort of focus the work on the edges. And yes, they are. They've got this sort of funny geometric-y shape to the petals there, because as Catherine said, they were hexagonal, and they are exactly. So yeah, just be mindful of that. You definitely want to do your star tool in the centre to give somewhere for the wire to go, because otherwise you'll be fighting it. That's what we used before. Make sure that your hook is well bent over, so you don't want it like that and you don't want it like that. It needs to be like a really tight, tiny little hook. Also make sure that as the wire you're pulling through is straight. If your wire is all bendy and then you're trying to pull it through that straight shaft there, all you're going to do is end up making an enormous hole. Oh, it seems to have...
Yeah, you catch that.
Oh. And then when you pull that through, can you see there, is it showing that I've stopped the wire just above the surface of the thing? So that when I then give that a little pinch and a twist, you know, it's going to move up and down a bit, that's fine. And then if you need to, you can just sort of pinch it closed around it again, give it that shape, and then just pop it aside to dry. I say this not just as a sales pitch here, it is a genuine thing. You want a flour paste that has some working time in it. Some of the other flour pastes that are drier with a greater tendency to crack as you're using them make this technique so much harder. The stretch and the manoeuvrability in our flour paste makes this process easier. And I'm not just saying that as a sales pitch, it genuinely is. It's true. So the star tool, does that show? It's a pain because it's white, so it's hard to see it. If you got a kit of P&E tools when you started, which obviously they're these yellow ones, then you will have one of these. One of them was included because I think the standard kit is the Dresden, which is this one. So the spoon at one end, pokey tool at the other end. Bone tool, I think it's called that. You've got these sort of curved bits that do sort of look like the end of a long bone. You got your ball tool. This one with the sort of cylinder at one end and the bulbous cone at the other. The star tool, and I think that's it because the cutting wheel you purchase as a separate thing. Are there any others in that? See, because if they're not ones I use all the time, they won't necessarily be in the pot. Oh yeah, there is actually. Okay, so there's this one that is a different kind of cone. And then there's also the one with the little knife bit on it. And the bit at the other end. Hang on. I don't know where the yellow one is. Okay, this is a... Oh, you know, there's loads. There's this one, the half smiley face. And then there'll be one like this that's got the knife. And then the shell thing. That won't be pink. I don't know where the yellow one is. Yeah, so if you have a standard kit, you have one of these in it, is what I'm saying. What's the cylinder thing? This one. This, I think, is just for poking. And it has the bulbous cone on the other end. Yeah. So this is, if I do it... Hang on. 1 second. I don't know if you can see, if this will show properly, but the reason that it's called the star tool is because if you push it all the way in, can you see it's made that sort of star in it? So both ends of it do that. It's just this one is a bit wider and this one is... This one actually, 1, 2, 3, this one and the other end in fact has 6 points to it. But yeah, if you can see that, that's what that is. And yeah, it's useful for making the middle of little flowers and stuff. And yes, you can also get a scriber. I don't know if that comes as part of the standard thing or if it's a separate... I don't know, I've had, honest to goodness, I've had these for probably about 15 years now, I'd have said. Thank you. So for the green ones, I have used a little bit of fresh green, a little bit of bright lime and a little bit of leaf green. And we've got a touch of bright yellow in the middle. And then for the pinky ones, I have used soft pink, a little bit burgundy and a little bit of violet pink even. And I've got some that I made earlier. Right, it's easier to do the taping first, because then what we'll do is we will dust them so that the tape and the dust meld in together, which hopefully you can see, like on these ones here, that's happened. So I've got some Nile green tape for the green and some wine/burgundy tape for the pink ones. And would you believe it, my lovely friends, I have actually cleaned and I am going to use my tape shredder. You're proud of me, Chris?
Regular viewers will know Natalie doesn't often clean the tape shredder.
I finally did it. I don't know what inspired me, but I finally did it. Right. So these are, if you haven't seen one, aka Yellow Box of Doom, because they are very sharp. They have razor blades in them, and you insert the tape carefully. Put it through, and then just, I know, right? So yeah, look, and you get this perfectly quartered tape. That's a quarter of pink for us to use, and I should do the same with the green. No, I finally got around to it. They just, do you know what? They're just so gummed up. How long has it taken me to get around to doing it? A really long time. In fact, it's shameful, I'd say. Oh, I keep losing it. There we go. There we go. Well, that'll do. And some green. So we will just tape under there. Not quite 3 years. I mean, it might be. So we've one green one there, and I shall do one green flower. And you can see we're just sort of taping on the shaft there. So you need to take it apart, which, to be fair, Chris, do you want to put that on the list for next week? We could have a bit of a Q&A type thing. We haven't done that for a while, so we can check in on the twiddles, we can do some tappets, we can take that apart, take it apart and then use some ethanol or IPA alcohol, your glaze cleaner, and or rejuvenator gets it off beautifully. You just got to be really careful because they've got double-sided razor blades in them, and they're frightening. So a little bit of tape on both. I'll do green first because why not? Yeah, I'll show you. We can we'll do a deconstruction and a cleaning next week, and I'll put a post up, and we can come up with some other troubleshooty bits because we haven't done a troubleshooting for a long time, have we?
No.
Let's see. Right. So we are going to do the buds. I'm going to take a little bit of corn flour and mix that with some of my fresh green there, just to dilute it down a little. And we will pop that top down on the bud, like so. Nice repetitive brush stroke so that we get an even covering. And then we'll do a little bit of green going up with the lime there, and then finally we can take a bit of our leaf green, put that on down there, and can you see that blends beautifully with the tape, so you get a fairly smooth transition one to the other. And then underneath the flower, do a bit of lime and then a little bit of the leaf green again. I've got a what is this going to be, a number 3, but just a fine paintbrush to do the mere hint of yellow in the centre, like so. And then this is kind of up to you. I always feel a bit weird leaving white flowers completely white, so I'm actually going to take a bit more corn flour, a bit more of that fresh green there, so that I've just got the palest hint. And we can just bring it in. Do you see I'm holding the brush perpendicular to bring in just a teeny tiny little hint of colour, so that it's just not completely white. Lost my train there, just in case anybody noticed. So the buds for these are quite dark, as you can see. So we can start off with a little bit of our soft pink, and we'll just do that all over.
The bright yellow you're using there?
Yes, it is, yes. And then I'm just going to add a little hint of violet pink to the top, bring that up from the bottom, and then across the bottom we'll just do a bit of burgundy on top of the violet pink there to just sort of deepen up the shade. So you can see you get that nice, it's a really, I'll put it on white works, it's a really rich pinky colour. So that's for that one there. And then for the flowers, again, we'll just do a little bit of that sort of violet pink burgundy mixture on the underneath to blend with the tape. We have just a hint of the yellow, but it really is just a teeny tiny hint there. Yeah, it's the bright yellow. There you go, you can't really see the lid, can you? It's just the bright yellow. And then we will do, again, I'm going to do some corn flour with some of the pink there, and we just want, again, it's flicking the edges of those petals and just drawing a little hint of colour in. Might pick up a bit of my violet pink there as well. You can really have a play with how pink you make these, how much you make those edges stand out or not, as the case may be. So that's the colours on those. And actually, if you find your middles looking a bit too yellow, you can actually just dot a tiny bit pink.
So I don't know why Peter's comments aren't coming through.
So I'll take the green ones together first. Why not? Because that's what we started with before. So I've got a little stack of prepared buds and prepared flowers. Jasmine's sort of in that. So Jasmine's sort of growing little clumps. So what we will do is start with a bud, the littlest buds, and we can tape a couple together like so, and you want one lower than the other so that we're creating an interesting shape. Crikey. And then we can add a little flower, for example. They are very delicate. They're such wee little things. We can have, in fact I'll save that one there, we can put another little bud sticking out, say, there. And another little flower. See, there's no particular pattern, it's just do it so they look nice. And then what I'm going to do is take another bit of tape here and make us just a little offshoot that we can attach into that main bit as well. So there we go, we'll attach that there. We can have one bud, two buds, like so. I'll just bring that tape down, and then that whole little spriglet we can attach sort of into that main one there. Easy, sitting off to the side, and then I'm just going to pop the rest of my flowers in. And you want them fairly clustered together. And they're very delicate. Very, very delicate.
Looking, not them off themselves.
Yeah, they look very delicate. They're very, we can see I'm pulling them around.
It's always a funny word to use.
Yeah.
Sugar flowers, because they do look delicate, but you don't want people to think, oh, they're just going to break.
Yeah. That's very true. Right. So that's that one just there. We've got I'll do the pinky ones. I'll answer in 1 second. I'm just going to do the same thing of building those little clusters. And of course I'm using the burgundy tape. So Lindsay, the best thing to do would be to make them out of cold porcelain. If you wanted it to last forever. Now, if you swap the cameras for a second for me, all the cakes behind me have been made in sugar. We put quite some effort, let's say, into keeping this room a sensible conditions, climate. Yeah, so it's in our house, it's off, the kitchen's over there. So via a combination of putting the heating on when we need to, keeping the doors and windows opened or closed as dictated by what the weather's doing outside, and or running dehumidifiers, 99% of the time we're able to control it. So yeah, these are all sugar. They're all in good nick. As long as you keep them out of direct sunlight and stop them from melting in humidity, sugar will absolutely last. They are, upon close inspection, a touch faded, but I know that because I made them. You know, if we took them to a show and the public saw them, they wouldn't know at all. Yeah, sunlight will damage the colours. Keep them dry. It will. You do. It's that fluctuation, isn't it, of when you put the heating on, you turn the heating off, etc. We do have. I did write a sort of blog article-y thing on the website about humidity. If you want to find that.
Yeah, there was also so again because I don't know why the comment hasn't come through, but Peter had said that
It's really strange.
she's using satin ice, so that if she needed some tylose and little vegetable fat, would that help with the dryness?
I would say. Right, hang on, let me do one thing at a time. So yeah, the sugar flowers will last well. Your other option is to use cold porcelain. So that's what we've got that I'm using some of in this year's flower club, that is thus allowing us to do like sugar flower art, if you will, although they're not sugar, that's the point. That will last like literally forever. You can do it like that up there. That the frame there, that's sugar flowers. That was what was on the cover of my first book, and I'd have made that in 2018.
2018 or 19.
So yeah, they do last. Do you want to swap just so they can see my hands? I hope that helps. Sorry, that was a slightly waffly answer for you there. I would put. I wouldn't put Tylo in because Tylo typically, to begin with, when you mix Tylo in, it gives a bit of stretch, but after that it does make things dry out and it makes them a lot firmer. So if you think of what Tylo does in terms of adding it into fondant to make a sort of modelling paste type thing for doing models, I would definitely try the fat. I will be honest with you, satin ice is not really, it wouldn't be my favourite anything, gum paste or otherwise. However, I do appreciate that you can't necessarily get hold of everything out in the States that we can get here. You know, that's that. Yes, I don't know, Diane, what do you guys use? Because I know that Diane's out in America as well. If any of our American friends can help out Pooja there. But yeah, I would try putting some more fat in it. It should help make it less brittle. Because like I said, you don't want water because the water will dry out and evaporate, whereas fat will not in the same way. That's what I would try. I would be loath to be putting more Tylo into it because I think that would make it stiffer, which isn't necessarily what you want because that would add to the brittleness of it. So look, this one. I'm just going to bring down. Yeah. It's been about 1 billion years since I've used Wilton flower paste, I'm afraid. We do, like, this is said with the caveat of, I do realise...
Just refocus the camera because we're
oh, sorry. I can just move down. Is that better?
Yeah.
We do ship internationally, although I do also fully appreciate and understand that the cost of international shipping in this post-COVID world is a bit bonkers. But you are more than welcome to drop us an email and get a quote for any of those bits as well. And yes, Diane, you can absolutely redust flowers to freshen them back up. It works a treat, and it's certainly something where I would go in with the with some cornflour, etc., just to make sure that you're in control of your colours. You only need a little bit. And for anything that is wired together, say like an anemone, then of course you can strip them back altogether. You can fully take the flower apart, redust the petals individually and so on and put them back on. Right, I've got some leaves here that we can use to just finish these off. I just want a little bit more tape. So I've got a couple of little sprigs of jasmine leaves, just like we've got in the frame and that, which I will attach. Pop one sort of there, or does it want to go there maybe? Yeah, I think I like it better on that side, a little sprig. So there's relatively little of what we do takes forever to make, because I'm always short on patience. If I can work out a way to do things quickly, I absolutely certainly will. There we go. Voila, so that's that one. And I'll just add some leaves onto there as well. Maybe one lot, maybe two, we'll see. So I could in fact maybe do one over there. Oh, do you know what? Actually, I can fix that with some dust. I was going to say I should probably have the other colour. I can pop that little sprig just here. And then what I shall do is for the leaves on this pink one, I'm just going to take one of my brushes. I'm going to grab some violet pink and some burgundy there to sort of dust up the stems on the leaves a little bit. And then we can also come around the edges of the leaves and just give them, they're not going to go pink, but it's just giving it that little hint of colour that makes it a bit more matchy-matchy. Just tones the green in. Okay. So there we have the little pink jasmines, the little green jasmines. They are very pretty. They look like little like a little buttonhole or something, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Especially this one would be perfect little thing. So yeah, that's the flowers to match the leaves that are in the new class, basically. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Aren't those little jasmine cute? Don't forget to subscribe, and then you will get a notification for when our next video is up. And see you then.